Now, a lot of people want to do quick fixes. And what are the quick fixes, right? The big thing, the big fad right now is GLP-1 medications, right? GLP-1s, I'm not going to lie, I like them. They're good. They are good. But let's tackle why it's a hot topic.
Welcome to Health Decoded, your number one source for real health information, with your hosts, Dr. Alessi and Matt Tack.
What if you could lower inflammation, heal your gut, and feel incredible in just 6 weeks? Our Repair, Clear, and Thrive Challenge kicks off October 1st and will help you do just that. You're going to get the complete Repair and Clear protocol that we use to detox and restore people's gut, the CoreSync app with customized coaching to keep you accountable, a heart rate monitor for real-time tracking, as well as a full wellness and biometric screen so you can see the results. That's over $1,600 in value. Register by September 1st and you'll also get a free functional medicine consultation with me to personalize your plan. Now, spots are limited and registration closes September 20th. One dedicated winner will walk away with $2,500 worth of prizes. You have nothing to lose, except maybe some pounds, inflammation, gut dysfunction, but you've got a whole lot to win. Go to alessifunctionalhealth.com/challenge to join the challenge. And remember, your health is in your hands.
And welcome to episode number 37 of the Health Decoded podcast. Your host, Matt Tack. I'm missing somebody today, and that's my partner in crime, Dr. Alfred Alessi. But I'm super excited to be with you today and go over a really important topic. We are going to be going over habits. Habits over diet, actually, and healing from the inside out. So let's dive right in. So welcome back to Health Decoded. And today, again, we're talking about habits. I think it's the most overlooked, but the most powerful drivers in actually long-term health. And here's the truth. Diets come and go. Now, weight loss medications hit the market, right? Those new ones always hitting the market. New fads rise and fall. But the people who truly win the game of health and longevity aren't the ones who are perfect for a short period of time. They're the ones who are consistently good over a lifetime. So today, I want to unpack why habits ultimately beat diets, and reducing inflammation from the inside out is the key to longevity, and why without foundational lifestyle habits, things like strength training, sleep, and stress control, even the most advanced medication protocols, well, they'll fail for you. So we'll even look at examples like The Biggest Loser, that TV show. We got a new documentary out on that, fit for TV, and why so many contestants regain their weight so quickly right after the show. Plus, we'll address the hot topic button, which is GLP-1 medications. I'll share exactly why I don't encourage their use unless someone is already committed to strength training at least 3 to 4 times a week. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So hang tight. Let's dive in. So number one, why habits matter more than what we call diets, right? Let's start with a mindset shift. When it comes to health, most people focus on the perfect plan. I got to do it perfectly. Well, the perfect diet, the perfect workout, and the perfect supplement stack, those really don't exist. And here's the problem. Perfect or perfection is not sustainable. Life happens. Stress happens. Travel, kids, work, it all interrupts the best plans. And that's why our clinic, we say the goal is to be consistently good rather than occasionally perfect. So think about it. Eating a balanced meal 80% of the time beats a crash diet for 30 days and then rebounding. Walking daily, lifting weights a few times a week, and sleeping 8 hours will carry you further than any really 21-day detox. Although I do encourage detox, and we do have a 60-week detox, but that really caloric restrictive pattern, right? That is going to get you free, and we do encourage those things. Implement those things. Those are great, but those aren't the key, the fundamentals to what I'm talking about today, which is building long-term habits, right? Those are sprints, and you can do sprints, and you can actually say, hey, I'm going to do a sprint knowing that you're going in and it's not going to be a long-term thing. So it's the little habits that stack day after day that drive long-term change. And science backs this up. So studies show that people who focus on small, repeatable behavior, not behavior modifications, but behavior weight loss patterns and metabolic health far longer than any who rely on extreme diets every 30, 60, 90 days, right? So you're putting more stress on the body in those scenarios. When the small daily habits, man, they can compound. So I talked and I hinted a little bit on this Biggest Loser. So they have a really cool documentary out. And if you haven't seen it, maybe watch it. But it's fit for TV. But this is an example of why these like really short-term things where you can lose an aggressive amount of weight typically don't work for most people. So they were losing hundreds of pounds over a very, very short period of time, 3 to 6 months. But let's look at the real world case study here, right? Which example, The Biggest Loser. So this show was where contestants lost massive amounts of weight through strict diets, exercise programs. I think they were even losing up to 6,000 calories per day. That's even more like than a military scenario on very little caloric intake with heavy, heavy exercise. So on the surface, it looked like a success story, right? People lost an aggressive amount of weight over a short period of time. But here's what happened. Follow-up studies show that the majority of the contestants regained that weight within a just few years, if not more. So why? The question is why, right? Well, how does that happen when you lose that much weight? How do you gain that much back? Because the program didn't build sustainable habit structures. When the cameras stopped rolling, life resumed. Stress came back, old routines came back, and without the underlying habit scaffolding, the weight loss wasn't maintainable. This is exactly why we don't focus on short-term perfection. We focus on the long-term consistency, whether it be physical medicine or functional medicine. As you guys probably know, we have our protocols last anywhere from 3 to 6 months, right? For physical medicine, our protocols for even the functional side last 2 to 6 months. So these are long-term repeatable form that now is going to change for a lifetime. So that's when we make health stick. So let's dig into this. What is healing from the inside out? Inflammation and longevity. So typically, fat and fat components are a form of inflammation, especially when you exceed the more the metabolic structure that your body can actually physically handle. So what do we do by healing things from the inside out? Now, the bigger picture, we have to identify, all right, what is inflammation? And then how does that determine longevity? So chronic inflammation is the root of nearly every degenerative disease, heart disease, diabetes, dementia, autoimmune conditions. And if you're inflamed on the inside, it doesn't matter what the scale says, you're aging faster, if that makes sense. So that's why our philosophy is healing from the inside out. What are we looking at? Well, predominantly, we're looking at the gut. We see leaky gut every day. So when you reduce inflammation, you're not just helping your joints or your digestion. And I want to get that joint is a key thing, because the stronger your joints are, the more muscle mass you can maintain. And muscle mass, lean muscle mass, and the acts of exercise and resistance training and strength are key components to longevity. So, and what fuels that? Digestion. So you're literally extending your health span, the number of years you can live free from disease. So how can you reduce your inflammation? It's not going to be with a single diet or supplement, but it's with habits, habit formation, daily movement, and strength training. A diet centered around whole foods, not perfect, but just consistent, 80% of the time consistent. Stress management, adequate sleep. That's something I had to be real about at the end of the day. I had my blood work come back the other day, and I'm looking at my MPO, and if you don't know what MPO, we can explain it to you later. But like the reality is, it's high, and it's too high, like to where I wanted it. And the past couple of times, I'm like, what's going on? And the reality is like I'm not measuring my sleep, well enough and I'm not getting quality sleep. Therefore, those indications of like sleep apnea are built into play. So going through a sleep study and likely a CPAP machine is going to be what's needed for me because I got to get proper air supply. I got to start. I realized over the past probably year, I haven't been dreaming, right? And that's a big component of getting the proper REM sleep. So stress management, adequate sleep, avoiding chronic crash diet that wrecks your metabolism, right? I will say this. Detox is different from a diet. When you detox, we put you on a detox at our clinic. You are literally reducing the inflammation in the body. I call that a sprint. So you're intentionally going into a sprint. I wouldn't call that a diet. I would just call it a short-term sprint to detoxify the body so that we then can start building proper habit structures. But this is the true path to longevity. Now, a lot of people want to do quick fixes. And what are the quick fixes, right? The big thing, the big fad right now is GLP-1 medications, right? GLP-1s, I'm not going to lie, I like them. They're good. They are good. But let's tackle why it's a hot topic. So GLP-1 medications is semaglutide. It's a peptide. And a lot of people want to use them because they can be that short, powerful tool. But here's the catch. Without foundational habits, these drugs often backfire. Why? Because GLP-1s don't just reduce appetite. They also accelerate muscle mass loss. And if you're not resistance training consistently, habit formation, right? 3 to 4 times a week, and knowing how to do that properly and losing muscle mass, that's one of the fastest ways you can accelerate the aging process. So in our clinic, what do? We don't encourage use the GLP-1s unless you've already had the habit formation of over a 90-day period, you're lifting weights 3 to 4 times a week. And what are weights? What does that mean, right? You have a plan, a proactive attack. It's not going in there. I see so many people going in there, sitting on their phone and not actually exercising, doing resistance training. It's actually going in there with an intention and a plan. I wreak havoc. I do. I go in there. I push around some weight, but it doesn't have to be that, right? It's intentionally going. My wife, she works from home and she gets her exercise done here. She is amping up. She's accelerating what strength looks like to her, right? I saw her months ago using 5 pounds. Now she's using 15 pounds on her dumbbell presses and everything she's using. That is what I call strength and resistance training, when you're adding more resistance, right? And then there's a component of where you're plateauing, you're back down, or it's maybe a little bit lighter day, but that's what it means. You're building strength, right? You're getting stronger. So you want to increase that going in with a plan. Get rid of your phone also when you're in the gym. I'm telling you, it's frustrating me. So GLP-1s, you got to start lifting, right? 3 to 4 times a week and focusing on protein intake. There's a bunch of different things going around in terms of protein might not be as necessary. It is. Trust me. Protein is absolutely necessary for recovery. You need those amino acids. And then you need micronutrients as well. But whole food supply focused on protein is going to be your best bet in increasing muscle mass and getting stronger. This is going to protect muscle while improving your metabolic health. Because again, medication without habits is just another version of The Biggest Loser. It may look good in the short term, but without consistent behaviors, the results just will not last. And if you want a great book to read, James Clear does this in Atomic Habits. I think it's a great book just to understand how the body works. And it's part of a kind of a motivation process, the reward system in terms of like how your mind operates. So that's a great book to actually sit down and read and really understand how you can build better habits, and you can habit stack, right, on things, getting proper hydration in. Well, how do I do that? Well, if I wake up in the morning and the first thing I do is drink water and then brush my teeth, hey, I'm getting more hydration and I'm drinking water first thing. I highly recommend that. So maybe even put a little salt in there, little hack, right? Double stack. So those are some of the things that I want you to really take away from this episode of how important habits are. Habits are so, so important before you get into anything. So here's the big takeaway from today's episode. Stop chasing perfection. You're not going to get there. And you eventually, actually, I will say, you can chase it, but start building those habits, right? What you need to stop chasing is the next quick fix, focusing on small, repeatable habits that reduce inflammation, build muscle, and support your body from the inside out. I want to leave you with this. Consistency beats intensity every time. Absolutely every time. When you commit to those habits, not only do you change your health, but you change your longevity. And usually, if you're consistent, right, the intensity comes because you're enjoying the process a lot more. You're seeing the results from it, and you just naturally want more intensity. But if you want help building this foundation, that's exactly why we created Alessi Total Care Program. That's why I want to promote it. I love it. Right? It's not just about the lab testing or the supplements. It's about creating the habit structure that makes health automatic. And right now, I'm really excited, right? So September 1st, we are going into our challenge season, and it comes with Alessi Total Care Program. So if you get into this challenge, you will get Alessi Total Care, and you'll get access to our app. And our app is all about building those sustainable habits over the long term, incorporating resistance training and functional training and all these things, right? That you're like, man, I've been on the fence. There's no better time than now. And this is the reason why. I was talking with Dr. Alessi. I'm like, look, we got to do something before the holidays, because it's like when you can capture, you have this small window to capture something before the holidays, before they come and they pretty much wreak havoc, right? So you want to be proactive about that. And I just think it's a great time to start something. Start 6 weeks, right? We got September, October to really balance that in and really start solidifying some solid habits before you get into the end of the year. And you can just kick off the new year with a brand new start. So don't wait like other people do to the new year. This is the absolute great time to do it, right? And we're going to have just an awesome challenge. So that's going to be in the show notes here, our challenge. You can sign up there for the first 10 people. They're actually going to get a discount. So you want to make sure that you're within the first 10 people to sign up. But we are super pumped to be doing this. This is the whole reason why we do this, right? Is to help people build those challenges and build longevity and long-term health. So if you want help building this, again, check us out. It's going to be in the show notes. You can even go on our website and sign up for the challenge there at alessifxhealth.com. But I'm going to sign off with this. If you want to learn more about our total care, functional medicine, physical medicine, regenerative medicine, make sure you go on our website, book an appointment. You can come on in. We'd love to just sit down with you. But the last thing, if today's episode resonated with you, and you really want to take action, help us out here. Right? The only way we're going to get a word out, please like, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear this message. If it wasn't just for you, maybe it's for somebody else. Maybe if you want to bring that person in the challenge with you, that would be awesome. We'll hook you up with another discount. But that's how we spread the word, and we help more people live pain-free and inflammation-free for years to come. So thanks again for tuning in to the Health Decoded podcast. I'm Matt Tack, and I'll see you on the next one. Remember, your health is in your hands.
Thank you for tuning in to Health Decoded, where we break down the truth about all things health and empower you to take charge of your well-being. If you found value in today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. For more resources and personalized support, visit us at alessifunctionalhealth.com and sign up for our newsletter. To hear your questions answered live on the show, send them to ask@alessifxhealth.com. That's ask@alessifxhealth.com. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and remember, your health is in your hands.